you mentioned your acoustic DVD that's coming out later this week or maybe next week. Um, what was it like to play in the Vienna Opera House?
Well, it's the second time I've done it. The first time we did it was with Black Country Communion, which inexplicably I don't know how we got booked to do that gig, which I have no idea how. Second time we had the gig booked as part of the Jazz Fest, and we had the gig booked before we knew what we were going to do with it. I didn't want to bring my electric solo band in there because it's the same set of equations. You're talking about an operatic house that has this rich history in acoustic classical music, and we're forcing electric music in there. And it's okay, but it works, but it's not working great. So that's when the idea of putting together the band, acoustic band, all acoustic, nothing plugged in, doing it like bluegrass style, but only with world musicians, you know, nickel harp, you know, Irish fiddle, and, you know, some, you know, crazy cats on percussion and piano, you know, and that's how it all started. And what a great band. I mean, Mutz Vester, Jerry O'Connor, you know, Arlen Shirebaum, who's in the solo band now, and Lenny Castro, who's a bona fide legend. I mean, it's just a killer group, and Kevin Shirley put it together, and we took 20 tunes and had 3 days to rehearse, and off we were.
Was it a daunting process to prepare for it?
It was a lot. It's a lot to prepare for. It's a lot to prepare for in the sense that you're completely switching what you do on a day-to-day basis. I mean, I'm a guitar guy, I'm a soloist, okay, so you're taking that out of the equation. That's a big part of the show. You don't realize how much I solo until you have to sing 20 songs a night without a big solo to break, you know, to give your voice a break. I mean, it's crazy. You know, that was the most shocking thing to find out about you. It's like, oh, wow, I do solo. I'm just overindulgent, you know, because singing the songs in a row, it becomes very apparent that the solos, you know, put a big part of it. So taking that out of the equation, you know, it was good, and it was good, and it was challenging and fun, and I think it made me a better musician, that's the best thing you can ever say about any project. Does it make you a better musician?
Is it something you take with you to your next projects, the reliance on solos, maybe?
You do. I mean, everything's interrelated. So.
Okay. Well, you mentioned the different influences that you took with you, the Irish music, Swedish influences. Was it difficult to transform your songs where it be compatible?
We just basically used the studio arrangements and let the band find the part. You know, there's some melodies and there's some hooks that people needed to come and play, but after that, you're just letting them feel it the way they feel it. You know, it'd be crazy to kind of go in there and dictate what every instrument plays. I'm not an expert. I've never even seen a nickel harp up close until I met Mutz. You know, I'm not a fiddle player. I'm not an Irish. You know, so you don't want to micromanage world-class musicians, because you end up going, you might as well just learn the thing and play it yourself, and you get this kind of very sterilized thing, you know, where if you just kind of let them find it, and everybody kind of feels it their own way, in their own pocket, that's the magic.
Okay. Kevin Shirley, again, produced the album. How important is he for your sound, not only on that record, but the other records as well?
I mean, how do you quantify the contributions of a guy like, you know, Kevin Shirley, who basically pulled me out of the blues clubs? You know, we had made a few records, probably 6 records, and said, you know, kid, we got to do something different with the blues. You know, you can't just be a gunslinger, 3 verses, and a solo guy, you know. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but there's plenty of them, and better ones at it than you are. We need songs, and he was the first guy to really stress the song over the substance, and that was the beginning of the newer stuff, and the beginning of the road to selling out 2 nights at the Heineken Music Hall, was the fact that we were able to get the substance with the playing in a good song, and that's when things start to connect for you. Is when you take the good playing or average playing, depending on what you read on the internet, and you put it on to good songs, and that's people. It starts to appeal to a wider group of people, and that's where Kevin Shirley's really masterful is finding the way to appeal to a wider group.
When he first, maybe when he first approached you to go in that maybe slightly different direction, was it difficult for you to make that transition, or was it something you were kind of searching for yourself?
It wasn't. It was something I was looking for, but I didn't know how to find. You know, I mean, you can only do it so much yourself. I mean, I don't like, that's why there's only a few. I mean, like Jimmy Page is a good artist who produced records. You know, he produced all those Zeppelin records, and he had a vision for it all. I am not that kind of guy. I mean, I don't have that kind of. I can't see the rest of the record before it's made. Where a guy like Kevin, he sees the whole final project finished on the shelf, done. He hears it before we even record the first note. So he knows where we have to start from point A to get to where we need to be. So that's what a producer is. Anybody can buy a Pro Tools rig, a couple microphones, set up a studio in your house, and call themselves a producer. Then there's producers. There's guys like Tom Dowd. There's guys like Mutt Lange, Kevin Shirley, guys like that. Those are producers. Best musician in the room, and he doesn't play, or he plays, but he's not playing. You know, that's the key. Is for a producer, you have to be the best musician in the room and keep focus on what everybody's doing. If the hi-hat's clashing with the snare, or the bass is rubbing with the kick drum, or I'm doing something whack, you gotta know how to it doesn't feel right. So try this, and you just go in there and you pinpoint the problem.
Is that the way you approach writing a record as well? You mentioned you don't really. Do you go into it with a certain idea in mind?
Good songs come when they come, and you just keep churning away. You write 10 bad ones to get one good one.